Good morning. How are we doing? Just settling. How is everyone? Thanks for joining. Who's in the house? Aled, let's goo. Let's all get goo all over each other. That sounds like a lot of fun indeed. Aled, I'm thinking about starting running. I remember hearing it's good to eat fat after a run because it's what we burn, and like carbs after weights. Is that true? No, you will burn basically whatever you've been eating. Your body will preferentially burn carbohydrate, and then if you run out of carbs, you'll tap into like fat. If you're in a caloric surplus, you'll burn like the carbs off, and you'll store like some of the fat as fat. But yeah, your body doesn't suddenly change what it's running on based on whether you're doing resistance training or cardio. Yeah. I have talked before about doing cardio and weights in the same session. And I've said to do like your weights first, because your weights requires that you have muscle glycogen in order to fire your muscles. And then towards the end of a workout, maybe you've burned through a lot of your glycogen. You're ruining my light, woman.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And then, so, if you're in a caloric deficit, then you're more likely to tap into your fat stores and start burning body fat off. So that's the thing. I hope that helps. Dan! He hasn't heard me. Morning to you. Oh, hang on. That was you I was then talking to. I don't know why I've welcomed you twice. At least I got to do my... Oh, hang on. Aled is... What? Oh, no. All right, sorry. I thought that was the same comment because you're saying about running. It's because I don't eat any meat. I originally started running, usually run fasted, and eat oats with a tablespoon of peanut butter afterwards. I think what you burn depends on what your heart rate is. Yeah, there is something about heart rate and then like tapping into different stuff. I can think you can shift sort of percentages, but also say you've only been eating carbs or only been eating fat or majority one or the other, then you're going to mostly burn that, aren't you? I think like if you do long, slow distance, maybe you can tap more into like fat usage, and then like if you're doing sprints, like then you need a more like a faster energy delivery system, so that's going to be more like muscle glycogen. There's probably something there somewhere. I'm no expert on cardio stuff. I will put my hand up there. I'm more of a physique guy. The best kept secret. The best kept secret. Just subscribe. Welcome to the channel. I don't know if you're in the chat or not, but welcome. Thanks for joining. Benjamin Codbod. Hey. E-Fun. Mon and Fri again on to you. Rachel Hobson. Yeah, keto guys tend not to do half as well as high carb plant based athletes. We're seeing a lot of data now on how much more successful it is to be really carved up. Super chat. Jam it. Love your work, Hench. Vegan for the animals. No question. He's just supporting his local neighborhood vegan YouTube, but not that local because he's the other side of the planet. Out of the kindness of his heart, because he's a lovely man. And he loves making this music. And he's a good person. And I really appreciate him. Thank you, my friend, supporting what we're doing. Highly appreciated. The Haferflocker is here. Deutschland is watching me. Good. I love you guys. I would like to get over to Germany at some point. Particularly Berlin. And I want to go in the vegan supermarkets. My friend Foot Soldier spent a lot of time there. He says it's really great. So I hope to get over to your motherland at some point. That would be amazing. That's good. Mooncat's here. Vegan Mooncat. Subscribe to him. I've got a Mooncat here, but you can't see him because he's green. The same as my green screen. Oh, will he show up if I... Nah. Can't really get him to... I suppose if I put him on green, then, you can sort of get the idea. Dan, looks like Sverige. And then I just lost it. Look, Sverige has already disliked the stream. Good. More dislikes, please, and more likes. They all help boost engagement. Rachel Hobson. Hi, Mooncat. I discovered your channel last night. I think I entered a surreal parallel universe. That's the one I checked if we could use. That's for damn sure. But what a lot of fun. What a lot of fun. Torre Santana's in the hizzy. Bonjour. Buongiorno. How are you doing? Thanks for joining again. The Townsend family, morning. What's the best tofu? As I was told it horrible, but I want to try any advice. Whoever told you it's horrible is clueless on how to prepare tofu. It's amazing, but I look at tofu as a flavor delivery system. It has no real flavor of its own. So it needs to have a good marinade. There's all different ways of preparing tofu. There's all different types of tofu. Any brand is fine. Any brand is fine. If you want to make cubes, you know, like pieces to go in, say a curry or something, or I would put it on top of an Asian style steam fry. You know, chop it up, press it first, get all the water out, marinate it in things like tamari, tahini, bit of lime. You can use a little bit of maple syrup. I prefer to use like a date syrup. So I whiz dates up with water. That makes like a sticky syrup. And then like the spices can stick to that. Or you could do sort of barbecue, like smoky style with smoked paprika. Things. There's all different ways to flavour it. And then you just like fire it in the oven or in a air fryer for like 30, 40 minutes. And delicious, really good. So that's like a firm tofu. You can also use sort of firm to medium tofu, make like a scrambled egg type dilly, like scrambled tofu. You know, there's a few flavourings going there. If you look on my channel, if you just search Hench Herbivore tofu scramble, I've got a recipe for that for you. In our new course, there's a whole video on like tofu, tempeh, seitan, like a few recipes. So you might like to buy our new course. It's freaking fantastic. Link below for that if you want to check it out. But yeah, we've got loads of free recipes on the channel. Oh, and our book, Where Do You Get Your Protein? This is the second book in from the left there. That's got a few tofu recipes as well. Very, very delicious. It's all in the marinade. It's all in the flavourings, in the herbs and spices. Can be really delicious. One of my favourite things, and it gives you a big whack of protein. Hardly any fibre. So, I mean, it's not as healthy as what it displaces, which is whole beans. But, you know, if you're eating a ton of food, like maybe your system can't handle so much fibre, particularly at first. So it's a good tool. I like it for, you know, bodybuilding, strength physique athletes, particularly, or people that are just new to veganism and just don't want to do everything whole foods. Oh, Sviola 25 with a €3 super chat. That's really kind. Thank you. Who's this? It looks like an apple or a lime. Is he a lime? Anyway, it's a lady one. She's got some pom-poms. I think that's my cheering section. Sviola, thank you so much. No question. She's not even got a question. She's just supporting her local neighbourhood vegan YouTuber out of the kindness of her lovely heart. Thank you so much, Sviola. Where in the world are you? How's the vegan scene? How's veganism treating you? I like to find out about them. What is this from Burkitex? You can't touch that. That's their personal thing. I like to find out about them. Well, that made me laugh anyway. Who's a Borat fan? The Haferflocker, Hench is bigger and stronger like me. Yeah! Oh! Plant-based gains, babe. This is what we need. More vegan, you know, strong vegans, just to counter that, where do you get your protein nonsense, which people are apt to say. Where do you get your fibre, is my question. As it's like far more important. Shaggy. Hi, Sir Hench. I've been adding blended dates to my green tea and tomato paste to make it slightly sweeter. Marinaras, brilliant. Brilliant. So you've got rid of like the free sugars because you know that they cause havoc in the body. Even if it's from free, if it's like, you know, like juice, you know, that then causes havoc and leads to disease. But yeah, dates whizzed up. It retains the fibre and there's still like a slower release. So yeah, that's actually like a healthy way to sweeten things. So that's really good. With things like tomatoes and green tea, let's face it, it can be a little bitter, particularly if you brew it for a bit too long. Yeah, a little bit of sweetness really does help. You've just reminded me to have a flocker. I have got to get my tea bags out of here. It's not green tea, it's mint. So the fact that I forgot won't matter so much. But yeah, you don't. Green tea, it depends by the brand, like 3 to 5 minutes. It'll say on the pack how long to steep it for. At that time, you want to make sure you rip those tea bags out of there, because if not, It's the tannin. It gets really bitter. It's not enjoyable. Lovely. The Gemma eclipse has started. You just can't get the staff, can you? Terrible. Don't tell her I said that. She's great, really. Aled, I'm not surprised with that, to be honest. I think I heard the fat thing on GRE a while ago. Stop watching it. Yeah, he is a little bit of a bro science fanatic, isn't he? Brogan. He has to be that way. If not, he'll realise that he is unnecessarily cruel to animals. And, let's face it, he does enjoy killing them, whether he says he doesn't or not. Like, you wouldn't keep doing it, would you? You wouldn't keep doing it. To have a flocker, the fat you eat is the fat you wear. Fact or fake? This is a brilliant question. Both. It's both. In a caloric surplus, the fat you eat is the fat you wear because your body will preferentially burn the carbs. But if you're eating at maintenance calories or if you're eating in a caloric deficit and you're losing body fat, no, it's going to fuel you. So it's both. Caloric surplus, the fat you eat is the fat you wear. Maintenance or deficit, the fat you eat is the fat you burn as fuel. Boom. Oh, no. Sorry. The camera will time out every 30 minutes or something. I need to. Me and Kat did apply a firmware update, a sort of. I don't know if you're sort of hacking it. Really, is it? I don't know. I don't understand it, but yeah. So we've got the ability now to turn off the 30-minute shut off, but there's somewhere in the menu we've got to apply it, and I don't know where that is. Kat, I did hear from Foot Soldier. I didn't read it yet. I think he said there is something you have to do in the menu, but he's forgotten where it is. Let me just have a look, because I'd really like to get this sorted out today. Not that it's a big deal, really, on the grand scheme of things. How do I get messages? Here we go. Need to select a specific option, settings, but I've forgotten what it is. It's forgotten what it is. I don't know. Can we maybe Google it or something? I don't know. Oh, and what's Jane saying? Here's the link. Let me just get back to her quickly. Sorry. If I don't answer it, I know I'll forget. Brilliant. See you then. We're on Jane Unchained News Network tonight. We're on the Jane Unchained News Network. We're going to be promoting our new course. We're going to be cooking our Raw Millionaire shortbread. So that'll be fun. Lovely Jane Elizabeth. She's a lovely host. Riggett. Where was I? You're welcome to the Townsend family. Aslan's in the hizzy. Good to see you. John Dozier, the sexy salamander. Asian tofu stir fry equals the bomb. God damn. You're not wrong, Ethan. I love Sacha Baron Cohen, especially Borat. Yeah, he's brave, isn't he? He's such a brave guy. He's got no fear, basically. Aslan, Hench, how does one properly warm up before a workout to avoid strain or injury? I haven't done my legs in a while. Every time I do, I suffer from stitches and cramps in the hamstrings all the time. I think basically you're just out of condition, and you will get into condition as you do it. Sometimes it can be like a lack of mineral salts and things causing you to cramp, or hydration. So take care of your nutrition. Make sure that you're hydrated. Don't train too hard or too long initially, and build into it. That's really the thing. I mean, in terms of a warm-up, do something for 5 to 10 minutes. That just brings your core temperature up. It's good to do some mobility work. So like leg swings, walking lunges, stuff like ballistic stretching. So stretching at speed. Some people do static stretching, or even worse, like developmental stretching, where you're doing a PNF, where you're like really, your partner's forcing you into a bigger stretch. Well, that sort of thing will actually weaken your muscles, and it will invite injury. You actually want to do that at the end of a workout to re-lengthen the muscles after they've been contracting, and maybe they've sort of shrunk down a little bit. But yeah, pre-workout, get yourself warm, jogging, you know, whatever you like, rowing. I like rowing quite a bit. Cycling's good. If you're doing a leg workout, I'd cycle to the gym and just crack on, to be honest. But yeah, leg swings, walking lunges, butt kicks, you know, so you're stretching your quads. Yeah, those would be the main ones. Alid, I'm starting to make noticeable gains thanks to you, Hench. Well, that's very cool. Guys, do feel free to join our Hench Herbivore Facebook community. And do feel free to post like progress photos, meals. It's just a great place to get some support, have a community, you know, so you're not going it all alone, and get some motivation. And even more importantly, to be held accountable. I think if you've got a goal, be it fat loss, muscle building, to eat healthily, you know, announce, there's the link, by the way, if you want to join, announce in there what is your goal, and then do like a weekly update or whatever it is, monthly update, weekly, daily, just show you, here's my 3 meals today. Today they were all whole foods, and you know, a load of people will give you some love, and you'll think, yeah, this is cool, and it more inspires you to keep it up. If you think no one's looking, and maybe you're a little bit tired today, you think, I could go to the gym tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're just more likely to stick to it because people are looking. So yeah, I'd really invite you, if you've got goals and you want to get somewhere, or you just want community where you can hang out all the time. It's just a nice way to connect with other awesome people. Big Spoon Bear, yes, Smish, high five. Oh yeah, Yeg Smish. Aled, I'm starting to make noticeable gains. Oh, I already said that one. Oh, I missed one comment somehow. Sviola, I'm in Ireland. Okay, I love your work. I've been vegan for 3 years. Thank you for your kind words. You look as handsome as all hell. And so are you Irish? Or that doesn't, I mean, I don't know. Is that like an Irish name, or are you originally from somewhere else? Or is that not in fact your name? I'm interested. Don't feel obliged to tell me all your like secrets, but if you feel like it, I'll be interested. Michael Jackson in the hizzy, hello to you. Very broken. Mooncat, did I say to subscribe to Mooncat? I can't remember saying it. Do subscribe to his awesome channel. I can't take to green tea, but I love Redbush. I think it contains most of the good stuff. It's pretty good. On the scale of things, it's one of the more antioxidant-rich teas. It's not half as good as green, which is not a tenth as good as matcha, which is nowhere near as good as hibiscus. That's the pecking order. But then like there's a million teas behind Redbush, or Rue Boys, however you want to call it, that are not half as good as Redbush. So you're doing pretty darn good. Could it be that your green tea was brewed too long? Because it does get minging if you brew it for too long. But if you get it right, it's not bitter. So, but yeah, maybe you just don't like it, which is fair enough. There's another type of tea called white tea. I don't mean like the normal black tea and you put milk in. It's basically young green leaves. So these are all the same plant. They're Camellia sinensis. It's the same bush. White tea is like young buds that are not allowed to dry out. Green tea is like mature leaves that have not been dried out. And then the black tea is the same leaves, mature leaves, but they're dried out. And so basically they kind of lose nutrition as you go along. Oh, and there's a little hack as well. There's a little hack. If you add lemon in, it allows you to get more of the antioxidants. Yeah. So that can be a good thing to stack. There's a few things that work well together. Pepper and turmeric, tomatoes and avocados. What is it with onions and garlic? There's something good to stack with them. No, I think it's gone. God damn it. Shaggy, I like you. Do you like me? You have a beautiful mustache. May I ask, are you a man who likes to lay down with another man? Nice. People are vegan. I've never heard fat you eat is the fat you wear. Explain like that. Thanks. Good to know. We can still enjoy some healthy fats when in a deficit. Yeah, in fact, you need to. You know, some of these healthy fats, the omega-3, the omega-6, are essential. Essential fatty acids. Essential meaning if we don't eat them, it's not going to end well. We must eat them in order to be healthy. I don't know what the side effects are of not ingesting like omega-3, but I would imagine it's going to be stuff like brain down. I think it makes up some of the structure of the brain. So yeah, that's not going to end anywhere good. Owen Samurai, how you doing? Have you been fighting them ninjas this week? What have you been up to? Big Spoon Bear. Yes, dear sir, madam, the weather has been really nice, but can you turn the temperature down a bit? Oh, I like how you're open-minded about if God would be a male or a female. I think she would be female. I don't know about religion, and I don't want to offend anyone, and I have no skin in the game. And I don't. What do I know? But I do wonder whether if there is a God, that she'd be female, because from what I've seen, females seem to be creators, and then males seem to be like destroyers. So I would imagine a lot of people doing the plant medicine ayahuasca see Mother Ayahuasca, which I could like see as like Mother Nature. Really, that's my take. Again, what do I know? If you are a person of a particular belief, don't think I'm poo-pooing you. You could be right, as far as I know. I have no skin in the game. I'm very conscious that I don't know it all. Although it may seem that way sometimes because I'm so clever. Owen Samurai, in case you're interested, Hench, I got the results back from my blood test. My cholesterol. I am very interested. My cholesterol was high in November. I went to vegan January. My cholesterol is now in the good range. Have you got your scores? Particularly, have you got your LDL? That would be the real pertinent one. And ideally, I mean, I don't know where in the world you are. If you happen to be in America, ideally you want your LDL to be 70 milligrams per deciliter or lower. I think in UK money, I think it may be 1.5 millimoles per litre. Don't quote me. I think it may be that. And we actually say in the UK, the doctors say, oh, double is normal, and that's what you aim for. But no, like you can get heart disease at that range. And, you know, the plant-based doctors over in America, they say half of that, you're pretty much guaranteed to be coronary artery disease proof. Coronary heart disease proof. And I find it sinister that our doctors say, oh, yeah, double's fine. And so the American doctors, like, you know, the plant-based doctors say, who wants to be normal in a society where normally every third person dies of heart disease? It's the biggest killer is coronary heart disease. Totally avoidable on a vegan diet. I find that sinister that it's exactly double. I don't know if there's something going on there or if it's coincidence, but it sends a shiver down my spine, I'll be honest. Eliza's here. Lovely Eliza. Do subscribe to the artist formerly known as Purple Piplup. She's lovely. How you all doing? Alid, I'm doing very well. We're very pleased how our course is going. We've done a few sales, which is helping us to feel more comfortable and like this is more sustainable. I shot a lovely video last night. I've not edited it yet, but I've got a feeling it's going to do really well. So my son has decided he wants to give the plant-based thing a try. Or he's calling it vegan. I mean, he says he doesn't want to hurt animals unnecessarily, kind of thing. I think that's the deal. And I think he's pretty keen. So we did his first ever vegan food shop in Asda. So, and we were just chatting the whole time. So we're seeing like what are obstacles, like what sort of stuff does he eat, showing him like all the different options. It's pretty health conscious. We got mostly whole foods. We added in a couple of processed things. So I was saying obviously you don't want to overdo the fibre if you're not used to just all fibre. As Mrs. is on board as well, she's going to give it a go. Lovely Anna. And then their little girl, Isla, she doesn't like meat. She don't want to eat meat. he was telling me that a slaughterhouse truck full of pigs came past, and Isla asked her mum, "Oh, where were they going?" She told her that was it. She never ate bacon again. She said, like, I'm not eating pigs. So I think that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful. So I'm very hopeful that they all seem to be pretty on board. Anna's certainly going to give it a try. And I'm very hopeful. He's a wise lad. He's very logically minded. The whole time we've been talking about it all, he had no like defensiveness about him. He was saying like, yeah, like good point when I was saying, you know, how do you humanely kill someone who doesn't want to die kind of thing. And, you know, most people do have a bit of a reaction to that, don't they? You know, but I think he's just very logical. It's weird. He had no defensiveness towards me, and he like sort of made a couple of jokes about, oh, I suppose I'm not allowed to put cheese on that, which normally like I would sort of be offended by it, because I'm thinking about, I get a flash of like obviously what happens to those cows and their babies, you know, so I normally find that sort of offensive to joke about that. But because I know that he's a kind person and he's not yet like fully in the vegan mindset, it just didn't affect me in that way. And I just sort of roughed him up a little bit and we were just laughing. And it felt nice that I could be lighthearted about it. He was being lighthearted about it. He wasn't taking offense at anything. And it just felt very good. It felt like some lovely connection, like some almost unconditional love, really. And I'm really hopeful. He's a really nice lad. And yeah, he's very logical. He's very clever. He's nothing like me. Anyway, video out tonight, I should think. It shouldn't take long to chop up. I just got to chop bits out which are superfluous, glue it together and then upload it. So I think it'll do well. Oh, and Hench is right. Static stretching before workout increases the chance of an injury. Tears your muscles. Immediate reaction to a stretch is to tighten to protect itself. Aslan, thanks, Hench. I know I can always count on you. By the way, for someone who has little to no mobility, flexibility, how do one limber up and become more flexible? Just by doing, really. I'll tell you one of the best mobility flows, I think, for the modern age is like the yoga sun salutations. There's a few versions, but they're all around a theme. And it's a lot of hip stuff, like, I don't know if they call it warrior pose, but you're like in a lunge, down dog, up dog, swan dives. It's all very like hip and low back heavy. And again, it's at speed, so it's more functional stretching. I would encourage you to do 3 to 5 rounds of that every morning. If you look, I'll tell you a good place to learn it is Adrienne. There's a yoga channel called Yoga with Adrienne, and yeah, if you just type in sun salutation, I just learned it from there. But yeah, very good. Keeps me in good working order. Lovely Angel, morning, my B12 from Viva Life just arrived in the post. Very good. Now, I do mine first thing on an empty stomach, under the tongue. Try to hold it there for a few seconds if you can. It probably don't really matter too much, to be honest, though. Yeah, you can either do it daily or you can do it once a week, 2,500. So I think that's like 2.5 full pipettes, I think. You might want to just double check that. Yeah, best before or between meals rather than on a full stomach. It just absorbs so much better. And thanks for, I'm guessing you probably used my link and code, so thank you so much for the support. That really helps keep the channel going. If anyone else wants vitamins, Viva Life, 10% off code HENCH10. Stephen Wonderboy's Thompson stretching routine on YouTube is very good. I'll tell you what's really good, more for weight training, is Kelly Starrett. He's like a CrossFit guy. He's got a book called The Supple Leopard. I think that really is the sort of Bible of weightlifting, like mobility and stretching. It's very, very good. Shaggy. Just got the vaccine, got told no lifting for at least 1 week, rest for a week then. Why the hell did they say that? That is absolute nonsense from my understanding. I've never heard that. Mooncat, I also drink Red Bull, says it's naturally caffeine free. How is green tea as far as caffeine content? I think, like, I might have this wrong. I think 1 green tea bag is about a quarter of the caffeine of an average coffee. Don't quote me. I mean, numbers probably vary depending on exactly the types, but it's low. It's low, but it's not unpresent. It is in there. So yeah, if you're particularly caffeine sensitive, then I wouldn't add it in. You can get decaf. You can even get decaf matcha. I found out yesterday. And there are a lot of benefits in terms of antioxidants. ECGC, some particular compound which is meant to be particularly healthful. Big Spoon Beer, what are your thoughts on using white sage for smudging to remove negativity from your house? It's very big in Native American culture. Is it indeed? Gemma's a big fan. I don't know. I mean, of course, there's no empirical evidence. There's no double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized trials to find out whether it works or not. It's kind of spiritual mumbo-jumbo type stuff. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know is the answer. I mean, I don't like the smell of it. But she sometimes smudges me and I think, well, you know, placebo is a huge thing, or just, I think there's energy, and I think if someone's doing something loving towards you, I think maybe something then happens. So maybe it's not the smudging in and of itself, but it's the intent, or maybe it's a load of old BS. I don't know if we'll ever know, but I'm open to whatever. I certainly don't think it's not provable by science, therefore it must be BS, like some skeptical people would think, because I think that's very naive, very arrogant. Like, just because you can't like measure it, who are you? Like, are you like all powerful? No. Dogs can hear like much higher pitches than you. It doesn't mean that they don't exist. It just means that you're inferior to dogs in terms of hearing. No woman could have messed things up this bad. I like that Big Spoon Beer. And yeah, you're probably right. Owen, they didn't give me the actual results. Unfortunately, my research passed on message from Dr. as they are busy. I bet if you asked for the results, they would give them to you, you know, if you're interested. Manos is in the hizzy. Hello all, have a great day. You too, my friend, thanks for joining. What are you up to today? Mooncat, well done to your son. He had a great example in his dad. Oh, shucks. It's all true. Thanks, bro. What up, dog? Oh, vegan gays in the hizzy. She is the destroyer of anti-vegan nonsense everywhere. Do subscribe to her. When are we hooking up, Ali? When are we hooking up? That's what I want to know. Aled, I wasn't aware you had a son. How old is he? He'll be 26 soon. He'll be 26. Vegan gays equals lower tone. You can't say that. Lads, salads. Angel, thanks. Well, I was going to ask about how to take it. And of course, I used your code. Thank you, my darling. You are very, very, very kind. Yeah, under age 65, you can just do a once weekly dose, as I say, 2,500. Or daily needs to be at least 50 micrograms, which is a fraction of a pipette, so that you can make it last longer if you want to. Anyone age 65 or over, we then have to have 1,000 micrograms every day for it to be effective. So, yeah. Ugh. Keep calm and let me help you. How are you doing, my friend? Thanks for joining. Hi, Hench. Are you concerned about choline? No. I understand why a lot of people will be after that hatchet job editorial by some nutritionally inept bellend. What are some good sources on a vegan diet? It's mainly like legumes, whole grains. Some of the brassicas are quite high in choline. Now, we didn't even worry about choline until fairly recently. It wasn't like a nutrient of concern that we bothered sort of measuring. In more recent years, there's been a bit of stuff about it. We've done a bit of science. Now, it's not like an essential nutrient in the true sense of the word, in that we actually make choline. The problem comes when either methionine, which is an amino acid, and that's abundant in all foods. All plant foods have methionine. Folate, from the word foliage, which if you're eating a half-healthy vegan diet, you're going to get masses of. And B12, which of course we normally need to supplement. If any of those are low, then the choline becomes more like conditionally essential. Like we'll need to ingest more of it. And say you were totally deficient of these other nutrients. Well, number one, I think the choline's the least of your concerns. If you're deficient in B12, you're looking at dementia, paralysis, and eventually death. So I would say put those right first, and then you don't need to worry so much about the choline. But yeah. So the science is we've not done much science. We know that 50, is it milligrams or micrograms? Let me just have a little look, see, how do we measure choline? It's milligrams. We know that 50 milligrams is too little choline for most people. But then again, are most people, like 2/5 of people, are B12 deficient? So, you know, how many were methionine deficient? How many were folate deficient? Your average omnivorous eater is deficient on like 9 essential nutrients. So, you know, would 50 milligrams be okay for a whole foods plant-based eater supplementing B12 and reaching the methionine and folate levels? I don't know. I don't know that the science has been done. So we know that 50 milligrams is too little for most people on an average diet. We know that 500 milligrams is plenty for nearly everyone eating a standard, like, crappy diet. What we don't know is, like, in between. There is some science to suggest that 300 should be okay for most people. And that's probably on a crappy diet. So again, I wonder if you're on a really nutritious diet, and that's your one nutrient that's below the AI, like the sort of suggested intake, maybe that's irrelevant at that point. Like, because as I say, it's more like conditionally essential. So the truth is, we don't know for sure. But let me just show you my chronometer. So this, I often refer to this. This is a plan I did for someone years ago. It's for a lady in a caloric deficit, 1,751 calories. So low calorie. We just gave her oats, some soya milk, berries, dates, flax seeds, chia seed, kidney beans, kale, sweet potatoes, a couple of different peppers, sunflower seeds, lentils, quinoa, tomatoes, spinach, onion, mushroom, and one Brazil nut. So it sounds like a lot of ingredients, but it's not a lot of calories. And so her choline came out at 313.8 milligrams. As I say, there is science to show that that's likely fine for most people. But the science is not really conclusive. So you may like to go a bit higher, you may like to do a supplement, or you may like to just eat higher of the foods that have good amounts of choline. In this diet, it was lentils, tomatoes, kidney beans, sweet potatoes, quinoa. They gave the most choline. So you may like to go a bit heavier on those. If you need to go not too high calories, you can add in more brassicas like broccoli and that sort of thing. The one caveat I would say is in the case of pregnancy, because you don't want to mess around. The requirement goes up during pregnancy. I think it's 550 milligrams is the suggested dose. Now, if this is low, it can cause neural tube defects in the baby. And so it's not a thing to mess with. So I think until we have conclusive science, I would really be like advising pregnant women to just maybe take a supplement for that time, just to be like doubly safe. You know, it seems to me if you eat a calorically adequate diet, eat the range of things, there's only a couple of nutrients really of concern. My feeling is like it likely should be all right, but the science isn't in. I wouldn't want to risk it. But certainly for the masses, like this is what I've been suggesting people in nutrition plans. It's kind of the way I eat, and I've not had anyone come back to me and say, oh, yeah, my choline messed me up and, you know, I'm dead now. Well, I suppose they can't get back to you at that point. It's conditionally essential, basically. Yeah, I like to see at least 300 milligrams. But very possibly, if you're eating a healthy diet, like you don't need to eat as much as that. We just don't know. We just don't have the science, is the fact. The Vegan Society, they actually recommend about 300 themselves. So that's and I know in excess choline does drive up the amount of trimethylamine in the body. Now, in recent years, it's been called into question how dangerous TMAO is, because there's some sort of conflicting data now. So I don't keep running on about how it makes it hard to clear cholesterol out of the bloodstream and can raise your risk for like colon cancer, things like that. But yeah, the science isn't really there. We don't really know. It doesn't concern me though, from what I've seen and what I've kind of inferred. Right. Oh, there's 3 of me. Get the right screen in a minute. Dan, with lack of evidence, we can't claim to be true or false. It'd certainly be arrogant to do so. Yeah, exactly. Mooncat, just checked online, Paul. I think the 15-minute timeout on the new firmware is now the indefinite setting. Right. I think I can remember what to do. 1 second, guys. I'm just going to try and put the camera on like permanent on. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. I've not even thumbsed up my own stream. And you haven't thumbsed it up. Yeah, you. I'm looking at you. You haven't pressed thumbs up yet. What's wrong with you? Do you hate me? Menu. Is it this? No. No, not this. Oh, this one. Exposure. Oh God. Minka, can you remember where the menu is? Not playback. Right in. I think it might be this one. No. Timers. So release or off timers. Custom. Playback imagery. Live view. Custom. Live view. 15. Interview. Playback menus. Standby timer. Good. I think that's done it. Did I get that right, Mooncat? I think I got it right. Oh, and thank you, Mooncat, I should say. Thank you very much. Dan, no more blackouts. That's the dream. That's the dream. Pounds KW, my manganese intake in my diet is approximately 15 milligrams. Is this okay? If that's from whole plant foods, that ought to be absolutely fine. What I wouldn't do is add in like synthetic manganese, or I wouldn't drink more than like a quart of hibiscus tea as well. But if that's just from whole foods, should be absolutely fine. Jago Bago in the hizzy, how are you doing? Didn't know you wore glasses. They look good on you. Why, thank you very much. Yeah, normally I wear contacts, but I'm just giving my eyes a rest today. Mincat, it's a live view one, so hopefully stay on now. Brilliant. Demi, hi Hench, and thank you for your help. Are nuts high in advanced glycation end products? Yeah, relatively speaking, particularly if they're roasted, so best to have them raw if you can. Which nuts are your favourite? Which nuts are my favourite? I like Brazils, and they're good, you know, because they've got selenium. You don't want to eat more than 4 a day, though. And if you've got a lot of selenium in the rest of your diet, you might want to bring that down, because they're so high, but they're tasty. I like walnuts. They're tasty. They have the most omega-3 of any nut. I think they're like, I think they're more of an alkaline forming food. There's a few things they're meant to be the best in terms of antioxidants, anti-cancer action. However, nearly all this data is funded by the California Walnut Institute, so you may want to take it all with a pinch of salt, because when a study is funded by the industry that stands to profit from a favourable outcome, it's 4 to 8 times more likely to do so. So that could just be some clever marketing on their behalf. But yeah, I like walnuts, so I include them most days. I eat a lot more seeds than nuts, if I'm honest. Almonds I eat regularly for vitamin E. I like pecans just for the way they taste. I mean, they're all going to have some good nutrition. They're all going to be good in different ways. So I like to eat a range. I sometimes eat macadamias. Whatever's around, I try to really vary it. But really, walnuts and Brazils are more of my kind of staple. I go a lot heavier on seeds, simply because sunflower seeds have the most vitamin E. Pumpkin seeds have a lot of zinc. Flax and chia, of course, very high in omega-3, which you can't really get a good ratio without including those. So I go a lot heavier on seeds, truth be told. Dan, what would you suggest as a snack to satisfy a sweet tooth? Medjool dates, cut them in half. Cut a little wedge of like a nice apple that you like. I like sort of Pink Lady or Braeburn, Gala, something like that. Stick that in the middle there. Some almond butter or some peanut butter. Stick that alongside the apple. A little sprinkle of cinnamon. Best dessert ever. And totally healthy. What do you guys like for a sweet tooth satisfying snack? That's whole foods, though, by the way. That's the hard thing, isn't it? That's the hard thing. Pounce. Yes, my manganese mostly from oats. Yeah, you'll be absolutely fine. You'll be absolutely fine. I know sometimes the things on Chronometer go into like a red, but typically when these things come from plants, you just can't physically enough volume of those particular foods to that nutrient would like cause you an issue. And as well, you should really vary your diet to optimize your health. So even if it was high one day, well, that's unlikely to do harm, you know, unless it's like chronically high, like week in, week out, year after year. Yeah, then that might cause like an issue. Timo, what is this special edition of Hench Herbivore? Oh, you think it's special? Is it the new camera? Is it the lighting? Is it my fancy specs? Is it the fact that we've got an awesome new course out, which the critics are saying is just unbelievably good? I'm the critics. Mincat loves grapefruit or oranges. Very nice. Yeah, I like grapefruits and oranges. I used to like mixing grapefruit and orange fruit juice. Grapefruit and orange juice. Grapefruit juice and orange juice. It's because I don't eat any meat. Of course, I wouldn't be drinking it now, but it is very delicious. I don't eat dead bodies. That's a good name. Dates and almonds / peanuts for the easy sweet snack. Yep, sometimes with a little 98% cacao if I'm feeling naughty. Ooh, I might give that a whirl. We're making the millionaire shortbread today from our cookbook, with Virtuous Vegan Desserts. That's a good little thing to have on hand. You can make a few and just you know snack on them. Very similar flavours, you know. It's got sort of a chocolatey coating, but without the horrible fats. like a gooey date kind of caramel thing, and then like a oaty base, biscuity-ish sort of base. So they taste really naughty. Like they taste like they couldn't ever be healthy. Oh, there's almond butter in them. But yeah, just really healthy stuff. So yeah, very good. How long have we been on for? An hour? I'll see how it goes. I'm going to chip off in a bit because I want to edit my video and get that up before 5 today. And then we're at 5. We're on the Jane Unchained News Network doing our Millionaire Shortbread live stream cooking. So Michael Jackson, are KP peanuts vegan? I wouldn't know. They're as salty as all hell, so they're probably not too good for you. They're roasted, so you're going to get more advanced glycation in products. I mean, normally nuts are vegan, aren't they? You might get some flavoured ones which have milk powder in them, so I'd be careful of that. KP nuts. Can I see the ingredients? Let me type that in instead. Zip. KP peanuts ingredients. I think they are vegan because I seem to remember eating them a while ago when I couldn't get much from a petrol station to eat. Roasted peanuts. Ingredients. There we go. Original salted peanuts. May contain gluten, milk. May is okay. They just really say that to cover their ass. Yeah, I don't think that's a thing of concern if you're vegan. Ingredients: sunflower oil and salt. So oily, salty, advanced glycation end product. So I personally would swerve them unless there's literally nothing else to eat, in which case I have eaten them. Right. But yeah, vegan though. Yeah, definitely vegan. Menos, I make banana bread with just oat flour, bananas, of course, very little dark chocolate, such as maple syrup and soy milk. It's basically the banana bread from Jane Esselstyn. I bet that's very tasty. Yeah, I can't imagine that would be too unhealthy if it's coming from that neck of the woods. They're pretty keen on their healthy nutrition, aren't they? Vin, morning Hench. Hope everyone has a blessed one. Lovely streams. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Vin Vegan, and I love you. Have a fantastic day, whatever you're up to. Chigo Bago, does eating whole foods plant-based enlarge the belly, larger volume and fibre? Yeah, while you're stuffed full of fibre and water, yeah, it does protrude the gut somewhat. But, you know, it's transitory, and the side effect is you're unlikely to get colon cancer. And the reverse is also true. If you don't eat much fibre, you know, it's very prevalent. It's a very common disease. So I will take not looking quite as fit over death. Others think differently. Scuzz, what an interesting question. Top healthiest foods. Wow. Top healthiest foods. Yeah, I've never seen any kind of chart proclaiming what is healthiest. I think food groups, yeah, legumes are going to be right up there. Probably leafy greens at number 1. Probably legumes, perhaps around the number 2 slot. Allium vegetables are very good. So onions, garlic, that sort of thing. Leeks, shallots, spring onions or green onions, depending on where you live in the world. Or scallions, some people call them, don't they? No, these are very anti-cancer. In terms of greens, like the cruciferous vegetables would be the kings, really. So like your kale, broccoli sprouts, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, bok choy is good. Yeah, very, very cancer protective as well. Berries, very good, like very high in antioxidants. basically look for the deepest coloured produce you can. The colours are the antioxidants. So that's important. What do you think, guys? What do you think are the healthiest foods in the world? Perhaps chlorella, like the blue-green algae, or algae, depending on where you are in the world. Yeah, that's certainly going to be very, very good. Amla powder, so powdered Indian gooseberries. That's got tons of vitamin C, the most antioxidant-rich food in the world. What else would be good? Yeah, some of your spices, herbs and spices. Mint is the most antioxidant-rich herb. I've heard that sumac is a very good spice. I'm not really sure exactly what are meant to be the health benefits. Turmeric, of course, very anti-cancer, particularly when you stack it with black pepper. Very, very good. What would you guys say? What are some really good, healthiest vegan whole foods? Yeah, I wonder if I've missed things. Some of the mushrooms, some of the medicinal mushrooms, reishi, chaga, cordyceps, lion's mane. Mooncat, can we watch your cooking today? Is it on the YouTube channel? No, we're filming for the Jane Unchained News Network, which is on Facebook. It's not out till Monday. I may, if it comes out well, I may re-upload it to YouTube after the fact, though. I did last time. I was surprised how well it actually came out. And thanks for Axin. Scuzz, true RDA for calcium. I think the true RDA for any nutrient probably is based on individual variability. So it's going to vary from person to person. I think it's been set much higher than it needs to be. And I think that has to do with dairy lobbying. And my understanding is countries, like the RDA currently in most countries is set at like 1 gram, like 1,000 milligrams. But if you look at countries which intake half of that, like they don't have any more instances of like hip fracture, which is the #1 indicator of bone density. So that would suggest that like there's no benefit. And in fact, if you go too mad on say dairy, which you think of as high calcium, it's not. You only absorb 30% of the calcium from dairy. But it has so much retinol, so much vitamin A, that it actually hurts bone density. You need some vitamin A, but you don't want to be overburdened with it. And animal product-based retinol is... We don't have the mechanism to like block it, like we absorb all of it. Whereas with the plant version, beta carotene, like we just absorb and use what we need. Like we don't get like a toxic excess. So which often happens. The animal version of pre-made nutrients tends to cause harm in excess, whereas the plant precursors eat as much as you want and it's not going to hurt you and you'll just use what you need. So I think that's one more way in which plant nutrition is so far superior to animal nutrition. It's just silly to eat animals in this day and age, knowing what we know. It's just stupid. Scuzz, I heard you need to chew porridge 20 to 30 times for proper digestion. If I have oats in my smoothie, drink it right away. Is that bad? If you're drinking it in a smoothie and it's been whizzed up, there's no need to chew it. I think some people do chew smoothies to release more enzymes to help break things down. But the fact that it's been whizzed up by a high-speed blender is going to break it down far more than chewing ever is. 20 to 30 times chewing. I mean, porridge is cooked, so that's going to be quite broken down anyway. But like solid food, we really say, yeah. Basically, I think the rule of thumb is it needs to be like a paste in your mouth. But how many of us do that? I certainly don't. You're coming out with some great questions, Scuzz. Have you been saving them up? They're very good. How did you build your upper chest? What exercises look good? Thank you, brother. So just any presses in general sort of build the whole chest. And to specifically target the upper chest, you want to be in an incline. So dumbbell presses, barbell presses, machine presses, anything where your arms are angled like slightly backwards, towards, so not straight over your shoulders. Yeah, they're going to be the main ones. Maybe you could do some iso work, like low to high cable cross. Yeah, that would be the main ones. You can use a dumbbell as well. That will get more like the sort of inner portion. Jade Greenwood, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. I'm an ex-heroin and crack cocaine addict. I'm now clean. That can happen to anyone, can't it? I must admit, in my party days, you know, I did get given some crack to try, and that is so powerful. I really, in the moment, I mean, I used to do crazy 2 or 3 day long partying, like binges, ecstasy, cocaine, you know, and I told myself to stay away from those two, but I was so off my face, and my friend said, "Oh, do you want to do this with me? I've only got these 2 rocks, we can't get any more." So yeah, I tried it, and wow, like even in my drug-addled state, I said to myself, wow, you need to make a decision. Like you either say no to ever doing this ever again, or you're going to be bang on it, because that was crazy. Yeah, never try that, kids. Don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. Anyways, I'm now clean and sober. Nice. I'm on 7 different medications for my mental health. I now struggle with obesity and comfort myself with food. Comforting myself with food. How can I change that? I think, you know, my man logical brain, the nutritionist in me, wants to give you like food, like nutrition, like recommendations. But I think it's going to be for nothing. If I think it's really, and you probably already know all about this, but I think working with a counsellor and sort of getting behind the trauma and things that are causing that feeling that you want that. I think that's a million times more important. I mean, in terms of nutrition, yeah, it's a whole foods, plant-based diet, higher carb, lower fat. It's a lot of water, a lot of fibre, very nutrient dense. You know, but if you're seeking that comfort, you're probably not going to, or it'd be hard to stick to. I'm not going to say you won't be able to. Maybe you're stronger than your average person and you can do it. I think it depends how much you want it, is a lot of it. But yeah, like working with a counsellor, that, you know, if we find the right counsellor, they are worth their weight in gold. Like they just get behind like the reason for things, and we can like, you know, look at past traumas. A lot of the trouble is we all run from our past traumas because they're uncomfortable, they're painful. But a lot of the time, like what you resist persists, and it just keeps like messing us up. And we do actually have to go towards the pain and face it. And Gem, thank you, darling. Yeah, so I think, yeah, I told you the nutrition stuff. Of course, exercise. I would say 3 times a week, try to do some kind of cardio, whatever is challenging for you, be it a walk around the block, be it like a half marathon. I wouldn't suggest that 3 times a week. Some sort of cardio, do something you enjoy. You know, for me, martial arts was great. Like I used to really love that. I'm now into hill sprints on my bicycle. Maybe up to 3 times a week with the hard cardio. 3 times a week, some resistance training. Like the more muscle you carry, the more fat you burn, even at rest. And, you know, we need to work our heart and lungs. We need to work our muscles and also our bones. Like load bearing exercises give us great bone density. And so into like older age, we're not going to be the sort of person who can't get out of their chair because we've not been doing our squats. You know, if we fall over, we're not going to fracture our hip, which tends to be the beginning of the end. So yeah, I say do something today that your future self will thank you for. And but yeah, I think counselling is probably the main thing. It's mindset, isn't it? It's huge. I would encourage you to look in, if you've not already, look into the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I really enjoyed his book, Change the Habit of Being Yourself. There's an accompanying meditation, and you can actually get both on YouTube for free. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I've got some amazing benefits from it, really amazing. I hope that helps, and yeah, let us know if we can be of any further help. And well done. Most people don't make it out of that. So you're obviously a very amazing person. Can we have a round of applause, please? Can we have a round of applause for Jade Greenwood for bloody pulling her life around? Any of us can like fall foul of that. It's the human condition. Seek pleasure, avoid pain, expend the least energy doing so. And, you know, just to smoke something in a pipe or whatever, like how easy is that? Like it's an easy answer, but it's not. It's an easy, like, it's like a band, it's like a plaster, isn't it? You're like plastering over the problem, but we're not dealing with the root cause. It's a bit like we're sick because we're eating a shitty diet. So then, you know, we'll take medications which make us sick in other ways, and then we take more medications. Or you could just eat a healthy diet and then not need the medications in the first place. I think that's an analogy. You guys, you're good people. You're all very good people. Do you know, no one wants to end up in that position, do they? None of us wake up and think, oh, I know, I'll ruin my life with that. Like, no. Some of us just dealt an unfortunate hand. And yeah, the human condition, the condition of all animals is seek pleasure, avoid pain, expend the least energy doing so. It's hardwired into us. We are set up to fail in this world of hard drugs, alcohol, McDonald's drive-thrus. We're set up to fail at every turn. So we have to really be really clever how we go about our lives. And the best thing, you know, is just to, you know, I mean, once you're in there, then that makes it hard. So, but yeah, say like nutrition-wise, just don't go through the drive. Eat a load of healthy food. Keep yourself full. The minute you have that McDonald's, the minute you have that donut, your kale is going to taste like dirt, let's be honest, and you're not going to want to eat it. But it's hard. It's hard. There's a really good book, and it's a YouTube video as well, called it is Alan Goldhammer, Doug Lyle, The Pleasure Trap. Very good book, very good talk, and it says whether it be drugs or food, just how we're set up to fail, our pleasure like pathway, like the dopamine pathway, and it gives you some great advice on how to avoid that whole thing, because we're just hardwired, we're set up to fail, so we have to be very, very savvy in order to get around that. Most people don't. Demi, are smoothies as healthy as having whole fruits and veg? We didn't really know for the longest time, but in recent years, there's been hundreds of studies on smoothies, and apparently, if anything, they're likely to confer a benefit because we can't chew things so small. It's like a high-speed blender that the blades can rip through all the cell walls. So oftentimes, a lot of food we're swallowing the whole cells, and they're encased in like cellulose, which we can't break down. But yeah, the blender rips through all of it, so you can actually liberate more nutrition potentially with a smoothie. If you're trying to grow, if you're trying to put weight on, they're a great tactic. If you're trying to lose weight, they can be a poor tactic because it's easier to drink than it is to eat things. So you can overdo it potentially if you're not counting your calories, being savvy, and if you let yourself get too hungry, you may like overdo it. Dragon Fist, good to see you again, my friend. Best foods for vertical growth. Well, during like childhood and adolescence, you just need to meet your nutritional requirements. So whole foods, plant-based diet, eat the range of things, you know, get all the nutrients, supplement B12, D3. As long as all your nutrients are covered, like that's, you know, then it's not nutritionally, it's not going to hold you back. After adolescence, you know, I don't know how possible it is to then like, I don't think there's anything you can eat which will magically like extend your spine up. I think you're pretty much done at that point. That's my understanding anyway. Scars, what degree incline do you use in order to do chest presses in order to grow that upper pecs? I say about 35 degrees, so not quite 45. 45 is okay, but as you go up, you're then putting more stress towards the anterior deltoids, like the front shoulders, and taking it off the chest. So I like to see about 35. Here's 45. I like to see about 35 ideally. 45, if they're fixed at 45, then that's fine. If it's adjustable, then I'd go never 35. Scuzz, any powders you recommend it for smoothies other than Amla? Chlorella is good if you want a whack of nutrients in there. Thrive by Vivo Life is very good, like natural multivitamin, multi-mineral made from powdered whole foods, turmeric, black pepper, ginger. Any like spices that you don't mind in there. Like herbs and spices really are, if there is such a thing as a superfood, they're so nutritionally dense for so little calories. If you're trying to lose weight, or if you're trying to manage hypothyroid symptoms, then black cumin is very good, like a teaspoon of that. Creatine, I like to add for bodybuilding. I like to put my seaweed in, which sounds bonkers, but in a big sweet smoothie, like a teaspoon of dulse or arame, 1 1/8 of a teaspoon of wakame. You know, you're not going to taste it, but it's a good way to sneak it into your diet. And then I have my smoothie at breakfast, so I know it's done. I tend to take all my nutrients in the morning. In fact, I've just realised I've not taken my D3 or DHA today. Is it Wednesday? Yes, a DHA day. So I must remember to take those when I chip off in a minute. Yeah, I mean, there's probably others. I can't really think off the top of my head. There's nothing I read. Oh, maca I sometimes use like as an adaptogen, like a pre-workout. I feel like it gives me a bit more drive in the gym. Ashwagandha, that's very good, another adaptogen. The medicinal mushrooms, reishi, cordyceps, lion's mane. There are others. Megasing. That's a good name. Hench, I'm going to be 55 years old, young this year. In the past, I've been in good shape, now a bit rotund around the waist. Start training again. What's the best way to increase my protein intake, lose fat? Are you doing any weight training, malarkey? I would, and if you're not, I would add in some resistance training. Protein, you don't need it too high. If you're training hard, and you're in a caloric deficit, 2 grams of protein per kilo of leanish body weight per day is probably near optimal. You wouldn't need more than that, certainly. So 2 grams of protein per kilo of lean-ish body weight per day. So say you're much above 10% fat, say you were 30% fat, I would take off 20% of the grams of protein, because fat's in that tissue and you don't need protein for that. Other than that, high carb, lower fat, 10-15% of your calories dependent. If you've got loads of calories to play with, then go near a 10%. If you've got very few calories, go near a 15% of your calories from fat, because we need a minimum of essential fatty acids. Majority carbs, so yeah, the remainder is carbohydrate. That's our species-specific preferred fuel source. But be in enough of a caloric deficit that you're losing weight each week. You don't want to lose more than 1% of your total body weight. So 500 calories a day deficit normally means about £1 a week fat loss. So use that knowledge to make sure you lose no more than 1% of your total body weight. And the way to check your body weight is in the morning, after the loo, before you eat or drink anything, weigh yourself, eat X amount of calories. Say for an average man, you went down to 2,000 calories. If in a week's time you did the same weigh-in protocol and you'd lost £1, and that was what you were meant to lose, then great. That's your calories. If you are at maintenance, if you didn't lose any weight, then obviously take a bit more calories off. If you lost too much, add a few more calories in every week. Say on a Monday, once a week, after the loo, before you eat or drink anything, first thing in the morning. That's called your true weight. Do that weekly and titrate your calories relative to what that's doing. And that's the best way. But yeah, try to add in some resistance training at least 2 or 3 times a week. A little cardio 2 or 3 times a week as well is ideal. In that way, you get to eat more and you're less likely to be nutrient deficient. And yeah, if you're nutrient deficient, obviously that's not good for your health. But even more importantly, for most people, as we're very vain, it's going to scupper your fat loss, muscle building. Make sure you got your vitamin D nice and high, because that lowers your sex hormone binding globulin to give you more free testosterone. So that really helps. Guys, how many reps and sets do you normally use per muscle, and do you train to or close to failure? I train close to positive, or probably to positive failure. I tend to do, on most body parts, I tend to go 12, 10, 8 reps over 3 sets, or maybe 11, 9, 7, or 10, 8, 6. That's the kind of rep range I use for most exercises. If it's a small movement, like a shrug, a wrist curl, a calf raise, then because the movement is so short, you need to have much more, you need to increase the reps so you get the adequate time under tension to elicit the hypertrophy. So I'll then go kind of 15 to 25 reps. So it may be 25, 21, 17, something like that for those. I tend to do 3 sets. I tend to train twice a week, upper body push. I'll do like a chest press, a shoulder press, a chest fly, a lateral raise, a triceps exercise, and then I'll do a set of calf work. So 3 sets on all of those, so 18 total sets. On pull day, I tend to do a row, a pull down, some sort of trap, some sort of rear delt fly, a bicep curl, and I do ab wheel rollouts to try and tighten up the core, work that transverse abdominis underneath the abdominis rectus. Yeah, so 18 sets, 4 times a week. For legs, I just do hill sprints now. I just do 4 sets of hill sprints twice a week, hard as I can, basically trying to get quicker and quicker. And that just helps to keep up the mass. I discovered hill sprints on my bike during lockdown, and I just found that I was getting less back and hip issues, which heavy weights for so many years had been irritating me. It seems to be keeping my mass, so I think, yeah, and it's good for my heart and lungs as well. So I've decided to keep those in. Anyway, that was a great question. Mooncat, I have lots of past trauma, and even though I, for the most part, keep to myself, on occasions I speak to you, Paul, free counselling, and I feel a little bit better about it. Talking is good. Talking is really good. Yeah, it really is. And I'm glad that you feel you can confide in me. That feels good to me. I don't eat dead animals. Just want to say I appreciate these live streams a lot. The chat always feels so welcoming and comfortable. Always a relaxing experience with you all. Thank you much for all you do. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for joining. This is the best job I've ever had. I'm just basically hanging out with friends. You're all lovely people. It's all love. We're all like kind to each other. And you tell me I'm doing a good job. You know, I've had some horrible jobs before, which I hated, which the boss didn't like me. He told me I was doing it shit. And I was, because I didn't give a toss about like making him money and earning peanuts. So that was his fault. Dragon Fist, what face exercises do you do? Well, chewing, I suppose. That'd be about the only one. I have got some of these things that you bite down on, but I stopped using them a while ago when I started getting a lot of migraine attacks. I think it probably wasn't what was triggering them, so I might add them back in. I think I've got quite good jaw muscles. You can't really see. Yeah, some people do like face yoga, don't they? I think there is something to be said for it if you want to keep like youthful. That's not something I worry too much about, though. Angel, this might be a silly question, but to build muscle, do you need to lose weight first? No, and then do the weight training, or does weight training make you lose weight while you build muscle? It's all to do with calories in, calories out. So how to answer this? If you're in a caloric deficit, you're going to lose fat. If you're at maintenance calories, so say your body weight stayed the same each week, but if you were getting stronger, you would be building muscle and burning fat simultaneously. But it just depends where your calories are. And of course, the more training you do, the more calories you need to ingest, even just to maintain your body weight, let alone like build. So yeah, if you're relatively untrained, I would say try for both if you want. It depends, like, what's the bigger hill to climb? Like, say someone was like seriously obese, like to the point of, they're basically a walking heart attack waiting to happen, then I would say, yeah, get in a good caloric deficit. Don't worry about like muscle building per se. I mean, you can do some sort of strength training, but really, it's really burning some calories off and getting the weight down. I mean, that is going to be so vital you know, because that's life or death. But say you had, you know, say you had a little fat to lose, but not too much, but you wanted to build a bit of muscle as well. Say you were sort of equally keen to do both. I would say, yeah, just eat maintenance calories. And for a while, you can do both. It is the law of diminishing returns. At some point, it doesn't seem to be sustainable over the long term. And you probably eventually have to decide, do I go in a slight surplus and start growing my muscle now and try to keep my fat the same? Or do I go the other way and try to maintain as much muscle as I go into a deficit? Yeah, so I hope that helps. And yeah, that's not a silly question. If you don't know, you don't know, do you? Vegan Moon Cat, not to curse the stream, but no black goat yet, fingers crossed. Yeah, it's looking quite promising, isn't it? I think Scott Johnston was already a channel member, so I've got to think that that's the monthly fee coming in. So thanks for continuing to be a Herbivore Army member, Scott Johnson, Herbivore Army soldier. Michael Jackson, improving my jawline to be a better vegan. People are shallow. Like, if you look really good and the jawline does help, you know, you'll make vegans look more attractive. It's really sad, but I really believe that's a thing. Funnily enough. Scuzz, do you train your neck? Not anymore. I have done. Again, I was training it heavily when I started to come to a lot of migraines. So I just wondered if I had tension like causing them. So I may go back to it. I think my neck is sort of fairly big anyway. So maybe I'm happy with it how it is. It's very protective though. As a martial artist, I mean, I used to do a lot of neck training. You want a strong neck for wrestling, for like taking a punch. Like, the thicker your neck is, the less you're going to get shook. So less chance you are of getting knocked out. And I've never been knocked out. So that was very lucky. Yeah, one exercise I liked as a martial artist was, you know, your lifting straps where you make a loop and you wrap around the bar. I would put the loop around the weights and hold the straps in my teeth and then pull. So not only are you working your neck, you also work in your jaw muscles. So you can take like a hit. So you can do that way. You can use like a neck harness and then like a low pulley. You can come forwards, or you can lay off the end of a bench, get a towel, put some weights on your neck, and you can do crunches. So crunches are important, and extensions. You can also, if you've got a low pulley and a head harness, you can do like side to side as well, which works the sternocleidomastoid, which is responsible for lateral flexion and rotation. So again, it just helps to keep everything strong and protect you from injury, particularly if you're a martial artist, or even if you're in, like, say, a car crash or something. It would just really help protect you a bit, at least, from, you know, whiplash. Anyway, you're asking some great questions, guys. I'm glad you're here, keeping it interesting. Lewis, adding on to the question before about weight loss, how long would you recommend being in a caloric deficit? What do you do? I think it's how long's a bit of string, like just how do you look, how do you feel? I think it's individual. I think ideally you don't get too out of shape in the first place, because the longer you do it, the harder it gets, and it gets miserable. So this year I've tried to stay relatively lean as I've filled my muscle out, and I don't think I've put a lot of fat on at all. So if I did want to get ripped, it should only take a few short weeks really, whereas before I've got quite fat. I've been keen to get as big and strong as possible, so I've been doing it too fast. And then, you know, you can't rush it to come off. You need to go no more than 1% of your body weight. So then it could take months and months and months. So yeah, it's very individual. But I just really would encourage people not to get too fat. I used to be in a rush to put muscle on. It was all ego driven. And yeah, I'd be dieting for weeks. It was fine at the start, but after months of that, you start to struggle. Like, your thyroid function like slows. You have to go lower and lower calories. You just feel like low energy. You feel miserable. Everything's a chore. And you just can't be asked. And then you feel like you can't train because you've got no energy. So then, like, you have to drop your calories lower and like, you know, or try and drag your ass to the gym somehow. It's not a nice feeling. Not a nice feeling. But yes, it's individual. It's, you know, how do you look? How do you feel? What do you want to get? And I say, like, go as long as you need to get your result. But ideally, you don't get too out of shape whereby you'd say doing it for 5 years, for instance. I think, well, the other thing is if you have got a long way to go, it only gets hard as you get towards the shape you want to be. So, you know, say someone was like mega obese, they're not going to feel bad until, you know, they're at like 10% body fat or something, which will take a while. So, yeah, I think I was explaining that quite badly before I just said that. Oh, sorry, I didn't read the rest of your questions, guys. Yeah, I totally agree. And I was sort of speaking to that, wasn't I? Yeah, very good. Demi, how much do you know much about raw till for? It was big a few years ago. I'm not sure if it's worth trying for weight loss. Yeah, it's all right. I ate that way for a while. I actually, I was eating raw for a long time, 2 years, and then I actually developed a similar protocol because I just thought, well, I'm not eating garlic, I'm not eating broccoli. I'm sure these have some healthy things. And I thought, I'll add them in my evening meal. So I actually, for myself, discovered raw till 4. And then I saw that Freely was doing it and had already called it something. It's all right. I don't think it's optimal. For weight loss, I think just eat whole plant foods in general. Lots of low-calorie fruit, lots of low-calorie veg. You know, a lot of that can be raw if you want, but it doesn't matter if it's cooked or raw, in my view. A bit of legumes, a bit of whole grains, a bit of tubers, a small amount of nuts and seeds for the essential fatty acids. Basically, you can eat as much food as you care for and still lose weight, as long as it's those things. So that's, yeah, but it doesn't have to be raw. I certainly eat a high percentage of raw, but until I added cooked starches into my diet, I never actually felt that well. I think it's better. I think it's better to have a range of things. But yeah, maybe, I mean, I suppose raw till 4, I suppose you would be eating a range of things. You may just be eating a higher percentage of raw. But yeah, give it a go. As long as you're getting enough protein. So you may want to add in like sprouted like seeds or sprouted particularly like legumes and things like that throughout the day to get enough protein in. Some people just eat fruit, and then I think it's hard to optimize like your protein then. Benny Green, what's up? Good to see you, brother. Scuzz does seat neck curls with a neck harness. You get a nasty stretch. Yeah. Oh, it really pumps up, doesn't it? Dragon Fist, is palm oil ethical? It's certainly not healthy, so I avoid it on those grounds. So you've got palm oil, which is from the fruit, palm kernel oil, which is from the seed of the fruit. Now, typically, it's they kind of decimate the jungle to then like kill all the trees off that live there and just plant like this one tree. And so it displaces a lot of wildlife, kills like particularly like orangutans and stuff. Now, some palm oils will say sustainable palm oil, but my understanding is that it's a bit like having the fox in charge of the hen house. It's like self-regulated. And I think they can just, a company can just say, oh yeah, we're making steps, and in 10 years this will be sustainable, and that's enough to be given the sustainable like seal of approval. That's my understanding. So I don't know if it never is, but my understanding is at least it really is. But I wouldn't put that in my body if someone paid me, in all honesty. So from my perspective, I feel like it's a null issue. Though some people don't care about their health because they've still got it at the minute, and so they might eat it. They'll change their mind when they have their first heart attack if they survive it. That's my understanding, anyway. Scuzz, can you eat too much garlic? Probably. You can probably eat too much of it. You can drink too much water and it kill you. So yeah, I don't know what level that'll be. You'll probably lose all your friends before it causes any physical harm because you'll stink to high heaven. It actually used to come out in my sweat, and my training partners at martial arts, like they just got fed up with it. I used to eat 2 cloves a day, Or did I eat 5? I think I ate 5 cloves a day at one point, and they said, like, can you stop that? Like, this is not enjoyable. Guys, dates versus bananas. Fight! I mean, they're both very good. If you're trying to put weight on, I'd go with the dates. If you're trying to be, like, eat a moderate amount of food, I'd go bananas because they're a bit more calorically dilute. I don't know. I get a feeling that dates may be more nutritionally dense, but I don't know why I think that. In an ideal world, eat a bit of both nutritionally. Lewis Seeley, dates are my weakness. Mine too. James Sunderland, hey Hench, what's your opinion on Tupac? I used to love his music. I used to think he was cool. Now all that kind of egoic, violence, drugs, sexism. Yeah, I think there's people that act like that are a bit of a bellend now. Is what I believe. And is he still alive? Who knows? Dragonfish, would you ever have a vegan cheese sandwich? I've eaten a few vegan cheese sandwiches, but the healthy cashew-based ones. Nutcrafter Creamery, Tyne cheese, Mouse's favourite. Lewis, why did you eat so much garlic? Yeah, it sounds crazy. It was raw as well. But yeah, simply because it's so healthy, so like anti-cancer and antiviral, like very powerful food. But yeah, you do lose friends. Mooncat, garlic tastes amazing. I used to eat olive stuff with cloves with garlic. So good, nice. Oh god, olive's good for you if not in oil or brine. Are they? I think they're always in brine, aren't they? I don't think I've ever had an unsalted olive, unless that is a thing and I've just not been privy to it. I did hear something about olives. What is it that they use to unclog drains with? Is it caustic soda or something? I might have that wrong. There's something that is used to unblock drains, and apparently, I don't know if this is always the case, but that was the impression I was getting. I was watching a TV show, and they said that they had to soak olives in this particular substance for like months, up to like a year, for it to actually be edible. If not, it's too like astringent or some such thing. Can anyone advise? It's a while since I watched that show, and I've kind of forgotten. Let me do a quick search. Olives soaked in caustic soda. Olives are soaked in caustic soda to ripen them quickly and pumped with oxygen to turn them a naturally shiny, uniform black. They're usually bland. Yeah, they're soaked in caustic soda. I mean, I've not seen any signs saying that will mess you up. I think that's used to unblock drains. So you've got to think like that. That doesn't sound like something you ought to be eating, is it? I don't know. I mean, I do eat olives on an occasion. What is caustic soda? Sodium hydroxide. What is the use of caustic soda? Manufacture of pulp and paper, alumina, soap and detergents, petroleum products, and chemical production. Yeah, I don't know. It don't sound the healthiest. Salt-free. Yeah, so the salt would be like the biggest concern probably though. Salt-free olives. Oh, unsalted olives. Yeah, you can get unsalted. So, I mean, I can't imagine they taste half as good. What olives do you guys like? I'm into the Kalamata. Yeah. Yeah, you can get, so yeah, unsalted would be the best choice. Certainly, that's got fibre. It would have all the nutrients. Most of the nutrients, when they make olive oil, the water like goes down the drain. That's where nearly all the nutrients are. Relatively, it's just exponentially more nutrition is flushed down the drain than is in that bottle. So it's not something for me. Okay, listen guys, I've been going a fair while now. I only meant to do an hour and a half. I think I've gone a bit over. I'm going to go because I need to get a video up because I've not got a video out for ages. So yeah, it's going to be the one, as I was saying earlier, I took my son for his first vegan food shop last night. So I think that's going to be a really fun video. So it shouldn't take a lot of editing. So hopefully I'll have that up by 5 tonight. And then... yeah, then we're on the Jane Unchained News Network. We're filming with them tonight for their Monday show. We're doing our Raw Millionaire Shortbread from our Virtuous Vegan Dessert Cookbook. But then I hope to be on after that. So maybe after about 6:30, I hope to be on doing another live stream with your Angel Cooper, you lovely lady, kind... super chat on the 11th hour. That's really lovely of you. That leaves me with a smile on my face that you guys care so much. Okay, yeah, thanks moderators for keeping us troll free. Thank you, Angel, for that super chat. Oh, and Viola earlier on, and Jamit, thank you for the super chats. That keeps us that keeps the cameras running, that keeps the lights on. So that's very good. Yeah, hope to see you tonight, 6:30. So check back in then if you're about, and I hope to see you. And yeah, if you've got any questions about how to eat vegan healthfully, download my free nutrition guide, How to Eat Plant-Based Successfully. It's all the basics. It's kind of everything you need to know, really, in a succinct, easy to understand little guide. And if you enjoy that and you're left with questions, if you want to really understand the entirety of everything, like really go like in-depth deep dive, you might like to check out our new online course, because there's everything me and Gemma know, really. 20 years of experience, you know, nutrition wise, and then how to put it into practice with cooking. You get our cookbooks in there as well, so recipes. Dan, you lovely man, love the date nut butter apple treat. Good. Thank you so much. That's really kind of you. Thanks for the super chat. That really helps. Yeah. I think that's all the things. Yeah. Hope to see you tonight, guys. If not, I'm back on tomorrow morning about 8, 9 a.m. GMT. Have a lovely day, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I love you all very much. Bye for now. Bye-bye.